Sorry guys, technical difficulties.
What happened?
That always happens when I'm just gonna blame Miguel.
I was talking about Metallica, then all of a sudden it was off.
Dude, I don't. Instagram's weird. Oh, come on. Now I'm trying to get people back on. That's what I said. It's Miguel's fault. Taylor! So sorry.
Hello? Yeah,
So
we're here
sorry.
back.
All right.
Back. Round 2.
This always happens when Miguel's on. I'm blaming him.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the lube. I'm telling you, that lube, he's gotta cut that out, man.
Sure. All right, sorry, you're talking about Metallica.
No, it's all good. No worries. It's all good. It happens. So yeah, I hear Metallica, I hear this band Metallica, Mirror Master Puppets, and it's like magic, right? And so I'm like, you know what? Let me give this guitar thing a try. Oh, what's up, Tony? What's up, bro? That's our drummer. That's our drummer. So yeah, so listening to Metallica and all that, but then my dad, he's like, yeah, I like Metallica. Have you heard of Van Halen? And again, I'm like, I don't know who Van Halen is, all that. And he goes, let me show you Eddie Van Halen. And I see Eddie Van Halen play Eruption. I think it's Us Tour 1982. I think that's the video that's on YouTube. And that was it. I was like, I have to do that. I have to do the Metallica thing, and then I got to do the Eddie Van Halen thing, and then I just went to a rabbit hole. I went to all these, metalcore bands, death metal bands, thrash bands, and it's just, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Tony.
This is a wild interview already, guys.
It really is.
Listen, with Miguel and Tony and I, it's always wild. It's always wild. It's always wild.
I'm starting to realize this.
So actually, let me bring this up really quick because I had a feeling this was going to happen, so I want to talk about this. Miguel and I go back probably 11 years ago. So I'm playing a show in Miami, and we're playing some bar in I want to say Fort Lauderdale. He might be able to correct me if I'm wrong. He used to be in this band with some friends, and I met him that way, and all of us just clicked. Like, we played with all these bands. Oh, lit. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Just like that. It was just like that. Literally just like that. Hold on. And then hold on. My girlfriend actually showed me this. So then I saw Miguel, and then this happened.
Aww.
So
That's awesome.
I love that.
So we were hanging out, and we're talking about gear, we're talking about music, what he's into, and his band turned into like a progressive band, and I just saw him going through so many changes. He's always been there for me. We've worked together, we've done a million shows together. I've known him forever. So Miguel is like one of those guys that he's always been very supportive of Ornimental in all the eras, and I've been the same way with him. So,
awesome.
but I just want to mention that really quick. But anyway, yeah. So that's how the whole music thing happened. It was Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen's the only guy I've ever cried over for a celebrity that died. Like, I never cry when a celebrity dies. When I saw that Eddie passed away, dude, I was like a little girl. I was like, I was so sad. It was crazy. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was wild. And it was so out of nowhere. Like, okay, what the heck? Yeah, we all knew that he struggled with cancer, but it was just so random. There he is. There's man of the hour. So
Sorry, Miguel, you crashed it again.
It wasn't me this time. That's all I care about.
Yeah, saw some clips from the other interview. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know
Oh my God.
some stuff happened. It's all good. It was a fun
Yeah.
time.
Either that or my camera flips over to my computer screen. It's great.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Nikki, are you at work right now?
Is Nikki back?
Nikki, now she's frozen. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, guys.
Joining better help. That's good. I've been falling a lot, and I've been promoting Life Alert a lot. So Life Alert is a lifesaver.
Nikki,
That's true.
oh, you're frozen. All right. Jojo, you have any questions?
I got completely sidetracked when it crashed too. So talk about the calendar, like how you got your start, who basically. Okay, so now I'm like all messed up. Thanks, Miguel.
Thanks, Zebra.
Yes. I said Miguel, not Nikki. What is your favorite song to perform?
Ooh. You know what? That we performed, it's always been In Cage. I would want to say there's a song that we've yet to perform that I know will be a banger. It's on the second record. It's called Call to the Sky. That one, I know it's going to be a freaking banger, but there's a reason why. So In Cage is the one that's like the one song that everybody loves when they listen to Ornimental. And there's a story behind this. So anybody who knows me, there's always a story. I always have to have a story with something. So we're playing a gig in this place called Tobacco Road. If you come to Miami, they don't really do shows there anymore. It's gone. Thank you, bro. Thank you. It's very yes. It's like a, what do you call it? Like a radio voice.
Yeah.
Like it on dead. If you're from Miami, you know that. If you
That was good.
Yeah, so we had this show, and there's like, mind you, it's 700 people. It's not a crazy big crowd, but for the venue that it was, 700 people was like a lot because the place wasn't that big. It was just slammed. And we're playing, and the power goes out, like completely out. So the amps gone, lights gone.
Wow.
The only thing that's working is the drum set. The mosh pit in front of us is still going, and the people are singing the lyrics, screaming at us, and I'm screaming back at them. And it was just that moment where it was like, this is the song. Like, if there's a live song that we have that people just laser focus with us and we're just connecting, it's that song, In Cage. Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
you know what I mean? And it's funny because the live version, I've always preferred us playing it live rather than the one that's on the record. Even the one that's on YouTube, that's actually the demo version in the music video. So the one that's live, we just changed it up so much where we play it faster because we always end up playing everything faster. It's heavier. It's just got more groove. It's just better. So when you play, it's an experience to see Ornimental play live rather than listening to listening to the record's great. Listen to the record. But it's different. It's a different experience seeing us live. So we definitely can't wait to get back to doing that. We definitely can't wait to start playing live again for sure. So that's definitely the answer for that. Hey, there you go. What's up, dude?
Hey.
What's up?
This is my other boyfriend.
How you going?
Oh, just peachy. Danny, you cheated on me. I hate you. It was only supposed to be us.
Oh my God. I didn't know we were involved in we're gonna be whatever
in a love
referees
triangle,
in this little love triangle thing going on here.
Pentagon at this point.
Apparently.
Whatever works.
Whatever, yeah. you know, 2023. We're gonna.
Yeah.
Is this love?
It's already been a
Finish it,
wild
Danny.
ride, so why not?
That I've been searching for is this love. It's supposed to love.
It's really
Hold
good.
on me.
See, we've been getting a mini concert over here.
That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah. Actually, you know what's funny? I have my music gear on, so like I'm ready to rip, but I'm not gonna do that. We're
Oh.
we're we're gonna talk. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna hang out. But I always have my gear on. So like anybody comes over, they want to play, I'm like, yeah, let's just go. Everything's already plugged in, ready to go.
Good.
Danny,
Jam all you want.
question
We're down for that
question for
too.
you.
Right?
Danny,
What happened?
have you seen the new Quad Cortex that just got released yesterday?
I did. It's black and gold.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing.
I need it.
You wait, you need it? I mean, it looks good. It looks like a Cadillac. It looks so.
Miguel's gonna buy my Helix off me, so I'm probably gonna get it. I'm gonna switch to Quad.
I'm converting. This is good. You're gonna convert to the quad cortex religion.
I'm not converting myself. Fuck you mean? You didn't do shit.
No, I influenced it. I influenced it in a small way. In a small way.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Exactly. So the rhythm guitar player for the bands, he bought a unit called an FM3. So like for you guys that don't really know about music gear, there's a company called Fractal, and they have like amp modelers and all that stuff. So he bought a little one, and the minute that he bought it, he's like, Danny, I need your like tone brain, because like me and tone, guitar tone is just like I'm just so lasered in it. I love guitar tone. I love making all these sounds. So he wanted me to come over, and he's like, okay, so make me sound like James Hetfield. Just like A-B, I want to sound like James Hetfield. And we went down so far down the rabbit hole that we went back to like the papers that were used for like the Master Puppets record and like the amps they're using and all that stuff. And we try to mimic that into the unit. So like we go in like to try to sound like really, really good. And of course, like he's not going to sound like James. James tone is in his hands. So it's not going to
Yeah.
happen. But, you know, the premise of it was he wanted to sound super heavy and chuggy and all that. So we went down that far. So like when we start talking about sounds and all that for Ornimental, we go really in deep. Like we look at everything super niche and all that. So yeah.
Nice. I was
I'm,
gonna
I'm
ask
gonna I'm
you.
gonna I'm gonna summarize that whole thing in one sentence. Danny's a fucking nerd.
I am a nerd. If you can't tell.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was
I
gonna
am
ask you if you could like
Actually,
elaborate
I'll have you know, James Hetfield used the Mark IIc Plus with these settings.
Using the Mark II Plus with these little preamps and nice in tone, and he likes to say yeah a lot. So if you don't do that, you're like a poser.
You
Oh, God.
need to scoop your EQ at 60 megahertz,
By 60
and then
millimeters
scoop the high
and
gains, and then
minus 8 decibels. Yeah.
I've literally brought my Helix over to him whenever I was having problems, and I was like, dude, this sounds like shit. What do I do? And he goes, oh, you literally just need to drop this frequency to this and this frequency to this. And I look at him like, do I even want to know how the fuck you know that and how you pick that up in 5 seconds? Or do I want to know? And he goes, no.
You just know.
Pretty much.
He spent too much time training his ear to pick up every little frequency difference and like what it does. So now I can literally play him a tone, and he's like, you need to scoop this, boost this, boost this. I'm like, I thought I had a freak ear, but Jesus Christ.
Dang.
It's like it's impressive but scary at the same time.
I went to school called SAE. It's like a audio engineering school, and there I realized that I hear like certain frequencies and what they do to an instrument. And so we would have most of the people that go to this college or whatever, they liked EDM and hip hop, and obviously I was like the rock and metal guy. So we would have to do like a rock song, and they go, okay, just spurt out, let Danny do his thing, just go away, just let Danny go on the soundboard. And the first thing I tackle is the drums and guitars, because for me, when you, and I'm gonna nerd out a little bit, sorry. When you're mixing a song, if the drums don't sound good, the song doesn't sound good. The drums need to sound good for anything, like any genre, right? I feel like if your drum and your beat doesn't sound perfect, doesn't matter how everything else sounds. The drums need to sound perfect. So for me, that's like that is just like a tip 101 for any artist to like have a good sound. You have to edit your drum set. Wait, how? What? Your dog has to suck.
She,
I know.
yeah, really though. You heard the noise in the background? My son was running after her because I think she has a sock or something, so they're locked in my room right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
To
there.
back to his point regarding drums being like the focal point of a good mix, that's kind of why you see so many bands stick with so many modern bands just stick with like these plugins that are dialed into a T by like professional audio engineers. Like, and so, some people, some people want to be like purists about it and say like, oh, like I prefer the sound of a drum, like an actual like live tracked drums. And those people in my book are the same as the people that are like, I prefer tube amps over modelers. I'm like, dude, in a recording, you can't hear the fucking difference if it's done correctly. You just want something, you want to feel like the people that try to say like live track drums are better than plugins. They want to have some kind of like purist or elitist attitude to something that the untrained ear, even trained ears, they've tested this. Like they've taken two recordings of the same song. One was made with modern modelers, like brand new plugins, and then one was recorded with a tube amp and EQ the same. You cannot hear a super noticeable difference. You just can't. That's why the plugins and the modelers are as successful from a business standpoint as they are. It's because you can't tell the difference. You just can't.
Yep.
That's what they're designed for. And
Yeah.
it's also for a lot of modern bands, because it's so like, because of the effects of social media and how like oversaturated almost like the market is for new bands. At least one person in every modern band is kind of like a pseudo producer and has to be able to handle like at least the pre-production on their own, like in-house, and be somewhat self-sustaining or self-efficient in a way. Because otherwise you're going to be spending thousands of dollars just to go to a studio and track pre-pro unless someone in your band knows how to do it. Thankfully for us, there's two of us, and Danny's been doing it for years longer than I have. But now it's gotten to a point with modern technology, with modern DAWs, with modern plugins, and modern modelers. We could write and record an entire record, tracking wise, in Danny's house, and literally just send it to someone to mix and master and be done. Like, we could do what used to be the most expensive part of writing an album in home for free, and just pay someone $1,000 to mix and master it. That's it. That's all it would be. You couldn't do that 15 years ago, but now you can.
That's true. And I really do believe that we're living in not only the golden era for like music gear, but we're in the golden era of recording. As far as on the musician side, I'm making it easier for us to record. Like, you literally have no excuse to not release a song. You could be nitpicky on how you want certain things to go and sound and experience, but if you just want to release a song, you have everything you can ever need at home, honestly. And I think Tony nailed it. Like, at the very minimum, doing pre-production, you could do everything at home. Even if you want to go to another studio, you can still do everything for pre-production right at home. You don't need to do every single little thing at the studio anymore. Those days are over. Those days are definitely have been over for a very long time, almost 20 years now.
Yeah. Because, I mean, let's face it, unless you're in a signed band with at least $50,000 to $100,000 budget, it doesn't make logical sense for the average, like for 90% of the bands that are out there, to go to a studio or go to a producer and spend 2 weeks every day writing. Like my other band was fortunate enough to get that opportunity, but we had to pay out of pocket for it, and it was a great experience. But it's not something that everyone really gets to do, nor does it make sense for everybody to do, unless you actually have the budget to do so. Like, you can go to a producer, you can go to the guy that produced, any metalcore band. Like, we could go probably to record with Joey Sturgis or Chris Crummett and spend like 2 to 3 weeks writing and recording with them. But we're talking about spending like 40, 50 grand, which I don't know about you, but I don't have that kind of money lying around. So it just doesn't make sense to do for most bands. It just doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. I think that if you're starting off, you need to do everything at home. And
Not
at
to
the
mention,
very
a lot of the
minimum,
producers that we would want to go to, almost all of them now have master classes literally showing you how to do exactly what they do. So to go back to Danny's point of like, there's no excuse for you to like not release a song, I'd go a step further. There's no excuse for you to not be releasing something that's actually good quality, because you have so many informational tools at your disposal. Literally nail the mix. Danny took it upon himself to do it like a year or two ago, because he's like, you know what, I have more that I can learn. So he paid for the course where they literally sit there with the raw stems, one of these producers, and they walk you through exactly how they mix a song from start to finish. You can literally sit there and watch someone do it and soak it in. Like, there's so much information at our fingertips. There's no stopping anybody from being the next big producer, because it's so easy to learn now. You don't have to sit there in a studio as an unpaid intern, like for hours on end, just watching someone do it. You can watch it on your screen at home, rewind, and just soak up as much as you possibly can.
agreed.
Cool. Do you have any new music coming out soon?
Actually, we've been talking about demoing for a long time. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
So we've been talking about demoing for a long time. When we released the second record, we realized that although the music was very versatile, we had enough experience to realize that I guess I like to say, like, the branches went too far off a little bit. We need to kind of narrow things back a little bit where we can experiment, we could be diverse, but we need to stick to a sound. And so, although I love the experience for the second record, and I still, love those songs, the new music is going to be different in the sense where it's going to be very laser focused on this is the musical message we're going to put out. And it's going to be, to me, heavier, more versatile, more emotionally in third person rather than in first person. A lot of lyrics for me tend to be a lot of first person. I want to do a lot of third person. Want to talk about other things, other people's experiences, rather than just talking about my experiences. You know what I mean? It's just going to be kind of just where we left off on the second record, but just more better. I don't want to say better, but just in a different direction, that for what the band is now rather than what it was with the previous members. Really narrowing in that sound and what we're about now. Definitely more modern, a little more progressive, more laser focused on ornamental sound, and to me, just more, diversity but heavier. That's the thing.
Before I joined, but obviously there's been a lot of member changes in the last how long have I been in this fucking band now? Like 5 years?
5 years?
December
5
of 2017. Yeah, this is officially my 5-year mark. Jesus
6
Christ.
years, yeah.
That's a frightening thought. Anywho, no, 6 years.
6 years.
Jesus, I'm already,
Yep.
and I haven't gotten sick of you yet. So there we go.
There you
Time
go.
flies.
I still love
But
you.
over the last several years, especially like coming into, releasing the second record, I joined right before, well, not right before, like right after everything was done for the second record. And I basically watched, I'll spare you the details, but there was a lot of confusion, a lot of turmoil, I guess, inside that never really, most people just will never know about. But the reason why things off, honestly, like kind of took a while and that, we were kind of all over the place was now that it's mainly Danny and I, and we just found a new rhythm player who thankfully we mesh very, very well with, and we're so grateful for that, because for a while it was just me and him, and the future was kind of uncertain, but we still had our high hopes. But up until recently, like, it was just me and Danny. But as he said, like, we've had that time to like reflect on what we need to do, what we can do better, what we need to do better. So now that we have a fresh face, a fresh set of ears, and we're actually excited to do new music again, which is refreshing. Danny, you've been buffering for the last, and he's gone.
He is gone. Where'd he go?
Everybody's having issues tonight. It's all Miguel's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's all Miguel's fault. Hashtag blame Miguel.
I think you missed it.
Did he miss it?
You missed his entrance.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure he'll hop back on in a second when his phone probably died. Knowing him, he probably didn't charge it before this, like an idiot. But yeah, I mean, I've been in this band now, 6 years, and like we've still not even played a show together yet because of how much inner turmoil there was, and like how basically, like, I'm not gonna talk shit about previous members, but I will be honest, like, they kind of held us back a little bit. They slowed things down, and now it's mainly just me and Danny, and now we've got our new rhythm player. Now we can actually start picking the pieces back up and be productive like we wanted to be. It's weird to think about that. Like, I've been in this band for 6 years and we still haven't stepped on stage together. Just the stars did not align. Members kept on coming and going. It was causing a lot of it was logistically impossible for us to play a show and be organized and be as polished as we wanted to be. So we just couldn't. But now, finally, thank God, we're going to be able to change that after so long of feeling like we're being stuck. As he mentioned, like we've gotten our shit together, we've taken a step back and like reflected on what we needed to do differently, and now we can be productive again, which is, we can actually look forward to this coming year, which is the first time in a while we could actually like truthfully say like this year is going to be different. And there he is.
There's been technical
Found his way
difficulties
back.
this whole time. I don't know what's going on, but I'm back. I'm good.
Did you hear any of what I said, or did you miss it all?
I missed everything when you were talking about the what was the last thing you said? You were talking about that we were looking for members, and then this whole time you've been with us, and I think right around there it kind of cut off a little bit, and then it just went off.
Yeah. Well, I'll re-summarize what I said a little quicker, and then you can add your 2 cents. But basically, I said, in the 6 years that I've been in this band, it was crazy to think that like we've not stepped foot on stage yet, just because of like inner turmoil, band member turnovers. Like we couldn't get organized enough to play as polished and professional of a performance that we wanted, and we weren't going to jeopardize that just to get on stage quicker. And I'm kind of glad that we've stuck to that in a way. Thankfully, and over the last couple of years, what I said was like, it's really just been you and me. And now we finally found the guy. Yeah. And I remember the first time we actually jammed together, he and I just kind of looked at each other and we were like, we've got him. Like, we finally found him. After so long and so many potential prospects and being let down, there were so many conversations where we're like, dude, what are we doing? Like, our future was so uncertain for so long because it was just us, and we were just like, do we got to do this shit as a 2-piece and like backtrack everything? Like, what the fuck do we do? Like, we just can't find the guys. And now we finally found one crucial missing piece, and now we can actually say, to sum it up, like what I was saying, for the first time in a very, very long time, we can actually truthfully say, like, we can look forward to this coming year because shit's finally going to be different.
Things are be different. That's actually a good lead up to the next thing I was going to say. 2024 is going to be a big year as long as we're sticking to the plans. We're talking about new music, growth on social media, growth on streaming platforms. I mean, we're talking big growth. So the only thing that we're looking for is a new bassist. We're looking very aggressively for a new bassist, and after that, it's time to get on the stage and take over the world again. That's my attitude. My attitude is, as soon as we're on that stage, we're gonna obliterate everybody. That's how I've always been. I've always had that attitude since I started. Still gonna have that attitude. So we're really excited for that. But 2024 is gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a good year for Ornimental for sure.
Awesome.
That's
We just
awesome.
have to find you a bass player, right?
We have to find a new bass player, and I have it on the Ornamentals. What do you call it? The description that we're looking
Yeah.
for a bassist. We've been looking very aggressively, but we'll find him. We'll find him. We'll find the right guy. Because the thing is that we've auditioned people. That's not the issue.
Mhm.
And I know people that would love to step on stage who doesn't play. The issue is finding a committed person that fits with the members. And I think that's what Tony touched on right in the beginning, was that finding the right people with where we're at now. Because Ornamental 5, 7, 10 years ago is not Ornamental now. It's pretty much just the same name. The band's different. The music's different. The personality's different. Everything's very different. It's just the same name. So finding someone that fits in that is the challenge. The challenge isn't necessarily finding the people. It's to find the right piece. It's the missing jigsaw piece to the puzzle.
No, I completely agree with that. We actually, this group here, started off at 9 people. Was it, Jen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're down to 3.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's
a
the
lot
committed.
of personality.
That's
It's
the
three
commitment.
it's the 3 that stayed that matter, though.
That's
the thing.
exactly.
Because like this has been Danny's baby for God, how many years? 12, 13 years?
12 years now. 12 years ago.
And obviously he's been through more member turnover change than I have, because comparatively speaking, I've been here a third of the time, but he's got me now, and that's all that matters, because I'm more important, bitch.
You are more important.
Now it's just finding the remaining pieces and making it whole. But I mean, we've joked about it, but hey, worst case scenario, we get a great opportunity. Hey, meet our new bass player, the laptop.
Our new bass player will be a laptop. Yep.
Hey, I've seen it happen before.
Right?
My other band played with this band called Saving Vice. When we played with them up at Respectables, they had, they were on tour, and I think their bass player had something come up. So they played their show with like backtrack bass, and then like their sound they still sounded like full. So it's like, worst case scenario, we have a way to play shows if like the right opportunity comes. It's not like we're going to be like, oh no, we have to have a guy. I'm not a purist when it comes to fucking amps versus plugins. I'm not going to be a purist about backtracking bass if we have a show opportunity that makes sense.
Yes, exactly.
But we're not going to be like in a hurry to do that. Like, we prefer it be all for actual people, of course. But if a really good opportunity comes up that makes sense and we still haven't found the guy, we're not going to say no. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. No, I saw a comment here. Was it bass player equals CPU for a lot of bands now?
Mm-hmm.
It's true, though.
It is true. It's funny because it's so true, But it's just like Tony said. I think obviously the preferable situation is we find a bass player. But if the opportunity strikes up, or we open up or get into a festival or a venue that important events that we need to have a full sound, yeah, we're gonna use backtracks. And I know there's torches and knives for bands using backing tracks, but I've never been against that. If you're mad that the band used an orchestra, if you have a $2 million budget for every single show to have an orchestra with you to not use backing tracks, you let me know. Let me know how that works. But until then,
I'll put it.
Ableton is my best friend.
Let's put it this way, Danny. Metallica is Metallica, and they still only did S&M in one fucking city, not on a tour. You know why? Because that shit's expensive as fuck.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
and that's Metallica.
That's Metallica. They have fuck you money. They have the budget to do whatever. And even they were like, yeah, let's keep this shit right here. 2 nights is enough. No, let's not do this across the country.
Exactly. So when people make comments like that, I don't take it seriously because I know they don't understand. They're coming from a place where they don't really understand why it is that bands do that. So, but it's okay. So, but point being, 2024 definitely going to be a very good year for Ornamental. This year was a lot of kind of start what do you call it, like booting up kind of thing. Things are kind of like getting our feet wet, kind of going. Next year is going to be 4 steps above that. For sure. 100%. So I'm excited for 2024 for sure.
That's awesome. We can't wait to hear
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Keyboard victims were the first victims of backtracking. You are not wrong.
No.
Find me a band that actually keeps a keyboard player in 2024, and I'll pay you $100.
That's true.
Let me rephrase. Find a band that started in the last 3 years that still has one. Because unless you're Dream Theater or Trans-Siberian Orchestra, there's no fucking point. It's just another mouth to feed and another guy to pay once that comes into the picture.
Yep.
So new bands, just there's no need for it really. Unless your band is very, if your band's trying to be like the next Evanescence, where you actually have like a good piano player that starts the band and it's very piano or keyboard focused, then yeah, get a real guy. But like if it's just for like orchestration or layers, then yeah, there's no point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to have some guy like take up space on stage just to do this.
And that's the show.
Yeah.
And that's the show.
I was
Yeah.
totally going to make them suffer too.
Yeah.
Listen, if I can do it if I can record it and put it in our show on this little thing right here, I don't need a person taking up space.
Exactly.
And that's a quarter of a keyboard right there. If I can record it and it doesn't make a difference and just put it in a recording, then I don't need another dude taking up space. I take up enough space on stage. I'm big.
Tony, let me tell you, I know the camera doesn't do it justice, but Tony's a big guy, man. Tony's I was actually joking out with Jose because Jose, who's the new women's talk player, he's also a big guy. I'm 5'9", but Jose and Tony, they're both like what? You're like 6'2", 6'3", something like that. You gotta be like,
I'm 6'4", I think. And I think Jose is like 6'2", 6. Well, Jose is skinny. Like he's like lean, so he looks a little taller. I'm kind of chunk, so he looks like he's as tall as me, but he's like a little bit shorter.
so far I'm the shortest guy, so I'm like freaking A.
I mean, you're like 5'10", so it's not hard to be
5'9",
taller than you.
But you know what? I'm very thin, so if I was too tall, it would look weird with the guitar. I look like a freaking Twizzler with a flying V. I'll show you. This is my baby right here. This has been my main guitar forever. This has been on every single record. I love this guitar. I love it.
Very
It's a
pretty.
Gibson from 2011,
Mhm.
and I'll show you the battle scars. It's not pretty.
Oh,
It's not pretty.
well,
Lots of
feed it off the
lots of
stage.
shows. Lots of tours, lots of shows. So it's fun. Can't do. I'm serious. I can't wait to get back on stage. I've been eager to get my feet wet and do it again. I'm excited.
It's been too long.
It has been too long, but you know what? When it happens, we've matured more, so the stage presence and the sound and everything will just be way better, way, way, way better. It's a blessing in disguise, truly, because I thought about it. I looked at videos of us when we played, and although we always put a great show, I could totally see us blowing that out of the water, even just from us with the experience and maturity and not even just the music, just the personas that we've made as we've gotten older. The shows would be astronomically better.
You know the other thing that's going to be astronomically better? Your
What?
fucking stage wardrobe because you're burning that goddamn cowboy
Dude.
hat.
So if you guys have seen old school Ornimental, dude, I don't even know
Fetus
what we were
mental.
thinking because we were told by like labels and A&R guys you need a look. So we're like, okay, well, I mean, what does that mean? So we
It means
hired
let's pretend we're Pantera, but we're from Florida, not Texas.
it's Pantera but with mangoes.
I was gonna say Pantera from Wish, but no.
Exactly.
No, it's Pantera from Timu, which I'd argue is worse.
Yeah, okay, Timu is worse. I agree.
But this is actually cool. This is actually cool. So there's two versions of like the look. I had like a cowboy hat. It's in my room. I can grab it really quick just to show you guys. But before we end the interview, I'll grab it really quick. But
Okay.
we actually had this woman that our manager got in contact with, and she does the wardrobes for like Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber. I know she said something else, like I think it was Selena Gomez or like pop art or something like that. And she's like, "Oh, I'll make you some clothes and all that." And she made me like a thrash vest, you know, those '80s thrash vests that had all the band patches everywhere, but it had
Yeah.
like it was like blood red trims and all that. It looked super metal. It looked so cool. It looked so awesome. And what I thought about, I'm like, you know what? We'll put on whatever we want because we're so over that. But when we start playing the old school stuff, I'll grab that vest, I'll put it on. We'll play the old school ornamental stuff just for those songs. I'll put it on. Not the hat. The hat, that's gone. The hat's gone. But I'll put yeah, Tony's like
I'll put it to you this way. You put on that goddamn cowboy hat, I'm throwing a stick at your head from the kit. And I don't miss. I will
You hear the halo? Boom,
I will
headshot.
dartboard that motherfucker off of your head. Like,
Just
hey,
don't put
come
an
here.
app on your head.
You know, it got to the point where I remember we played a show and I had my hat off,
Mhm.
and the guy's like, "Hey," because we're going backstage, and the guy's like, "Hey, who are you?" And I put the hat on. He goes, "Oh, Ornamental. Okay, cool. You can come back in." It was like the hat was my face. I'm like, okay.
It was a signature
That's how.
look. They knew how
That's
to identify you that way.
I had it.
that's when
It was like an identity, but you know, again, it's like I said before, that era is over, and you know, it's a different era. It's a definitely different era ornamental, but yeah, that I don't regret it. It was fun. It was a good experience. It was
Yeah.
definitely a good experience, and it's cool. So I don't regret it. But yeah,
we
no
had
more,
we
no more
we had
cowboys.
we had the idea at some point a while ago, and I don't know, we might do it for like a future music video where it's like all the new members that are like reacting to like an old music video that's like super cringy and corny, and we all just all the new members just look up at him like, why?
And we burn my
We burn that fucking cowboy
we
hat.
get the cowboy hat. It'll be like a heavy song or whatever kind of song I guess the music video will be, and the cowboy hat will be on fire, and that'll be like I guess a way of saying like the old's done and the new thing, whatever, blah blah blah. Super 2012, but whatever. Who cares?
You can do that
Hey,
for
better the
2024. There you go.
better the burning cowboy hat than the music videos in the rain or an abandoned warehouse. At least we're not doing that.
Well,
Everybody
we
does
messed
that.
up on one of them. The new
Oh
All
fuck, you're
American
right. Too
Fury.
late. We already did it. God damn it.
All American Fury is in a freaking warehouse,
I
but
was
it's
gonna
cool.
say, isn't that the video we've been playing?
That's the video
Yep.
we played. But wait, hold on. It's a saving grace. That has a bunch of movie props. There's movie props all over the place. So it's not a typical warehouse, but it's a warehouse. But it has movie props. So at least we're saving it there. We're trying to be movie buffs. So there you go.
At least
That'll save us there.
we're okay. At least we haven't done a music video in the rain. But you know why bands don't do music videos in the rain
Because I
anymore? It's because now
like my
gear's too
gear.
fucking expensive.
I like not spending money on my gear being destroyed by rain. That's nice. My $2,000 friggin' amp.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
No.
No, me either.
Well, because it's like it's also like at this like fans know at this point what Danny uses, so it's not like he can go from playing a Gibson every day to like, oh, we're gonna do this video where we're gonna destroy our shit. Let's give him like a shitty like $200 Dean or something. Like you can't do it. Like same with me. Like I play only Ernie Ball in my other band, so I can't play like a Dean or something in a music video because
Weird.
all of our fans are gonna be like, wait a minute, what the fuck is that?
What is
What the
that?
fuck is that?
It's weird.
What is that?
It's weird.
That's porn. We don't do that. No. So he's been a Gibson guy like the entire time. So he can't
True.
like and you can't like play. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could play one of your old Schecters, but even then, those are worth something. You wouldn't want those to get destroyed.
I got a couple. I have back in the day, I for a brief minute, I got endorsed by Schecter, but they didn't treat me the way I liked. I'll just leave it at that. So I got a couple of guitars, and they sound great. I love them. So maybe we'll put them to use for sure. But yeah, I got a couple of those. My first guitar is a Schecter, so who knows? Maybe we'll connect in the future. We'll see what happens.
But now that the other guy, like now that your left hand man is also a Gibson V player, it's like now you really can't change
Now
because now it's
we really
cohesive.
can't change. Now we really can't change.
You
Because
really
my
can't.
Jose also plays like Gibsons and all that. So we're like, yeah, probably just gonna end up being that band with Gibsons and
Hey,
Epiphones.
it's the homie Anthony from Dark Divine is in the chat.
I was just gonna say, is that the singer of Dark Divine that just came
Yes,
in
it
here?
is.
Oh
I
my
love you.
god. I love
Hold
you
on, can I
very
do the thing? Can I do the thing? Can I do the
Look,
thing?
look, right here, right here,
Do
right
it.
here. Wait. Yeah! There you
I
go. Oh,
can't do it. Is it
I
only
did
an
a
iPhone?
thing where it's like
Is it only an
fireworks.
iPhone
I
thing?
don't know what
Can
I
I not
did.
do it? Is it only an iPhone? Is it only an iPhone thing?
It is an iPhone thing.
Oh,
See?
well, look at me looking
Yeah.
like a doofus. All right.
I did a thing. I
Sorry,
forgot what
Tony, so
happened,
much.
but I made a reaction and there's like fireworks that went off. I don't know if I did this or something. I don't know. But there's fireworks that went off. It happened
Yeah, I don't
earlier in
know
the interview.
how you did the fireworks,
That was
but that was pretty cool.
cool.
It was cool. And I said it
All
was
the
lit
hearts.
or something like that and it actually got lit.
It did.
No. No.
He joins the chat and everybody goes wild.
And the crowd goes wild.
He's already gone.
We can just pretend it worked for you. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even remember what time it was when we came back on, but I know Instagram's probably going to kick us off soon. So, anybody else in the chat have any other questions before we go?
Anything. It doesn't even have to do with music. Any question.
Be wild.
Whatever you want.
Be wild. Literally ask any question. What did I order from Uber this morning? I'll give you an answer. It was a big breakfast. Two hash browns.
Nice. 2 hash browns is all you ordered?
You know, well, okay. I talked about this with my sister. I feel like McDonald's hash browns is the GOAT, but it's never enough. When they give you a hash brown, it's like this much. So I always order 2, and that just feels right. Like I'm like, this should just be the regular amount because it's not really that much.
No.
Like there should be like a medium and large hash brown instead of just a one little. You know what I'm saying? Because like if I have 2, that feels right. Or maybe I'm just a fat ass. That's probably what it is.
I don't know. For me, for those, 4 would probably feel right because I am a fat ass. Oh,
Tony,
I'll
I
never
love you,
forget
man.
when I first joined the band. I think it was before I actually started my fitness journey initially. I was like 271 when I first joined, and Danny was a fucking twig, like twig, like no muscle mass on him at all. So like 4 months into my journey, I'd lost like 20, 30 pounds, and he goes, "Hey, I want to do that too. What should I do?" And I go, the exact opposite of what I'm doing, because you have the opposite problem. You're a hard gainer. You eat whatever you want and don't gain an ounce. So I was like, you need to eat like 200 grams of protein a day and lift heavy. He goes, okay. 3 months later, homeboy goes, I'm like, I hate you.
I'm wearing long sleeve. You can't see, but I did gain muscle. It's awesome. Yeah, Tony helped me out. And then I've been going with my friend Alex, who's a DJ. Shout out DJ Quake. Him and I have been going to the gym, and he lost crazy weight. He was 280 pounds, and now he's about to hit 221.
Oh
So
wow.
we're talking about in a year, crazy weight drop, like crazy, like water weight for sure, but he shredded. He shredded, and it's awesome. I can't show you a transition or transformation picture, whatever, but yeah, it's awesome to see. But ever since Tony and I started going to the gym, I've been actively a gym person. I go on and off. Sometimes I have a break, but I've been trying to stay consistent at the gym as much as possible. And I've met people that are also musicians at the gym. I don't know, there's something about the gym. You meet people within like the rock or metal genre, or just like DJs, whatever. I don't know what it is. Musicians now, we're like very different. We're all a bunch of nerds that go to the gym and talk about gear.
I was just thinking it's so funny like the disconnect between like musicians now that want to make it versus musicians in the 80s that wanted to make it. Like if you weren't getting like going to parties and getting fucked up on everything under the sun, like you weren't cool. Now it's like if you do anything like irresponsible, you're like immediately canceled. So now
Yeah.
the normal is like, okay, well, let's eat healthy when we go on the road. Let's go to the gym. Let's be in good shape. Let's not be pieces of shit. Like it's like there's been such a shift in the last 20 years. Like perfect example, the drummer for Escape the Fate, when he first met Axl Rose, he got flipped off by Axl Rose on the Hollywood Strip, and he thought it was the coolest thing ever because apparently it used to be cool when Axl Rose was an asshole. Now, if you have fans and you're an asshole to them, you're immediately canceled, like immediately. So it's like it's not cool to be a dick. Not that it shouldn't have been cool to begin with, but
Ever.
it's like
Yeah.
it's not cool to be an asshole to your fans, like because you're too cool for them or some shit. It's not cool to be a drunk or like drunk or on drugs while you're on the road trying to do what like you want to do. And yeah, it's like it's been such a cool. It's a positive shift, like from the norm now versus the norm
Yeah.
like 15, 20
I
years
think it's
ago.
a good thing. Like, we did when I remember we were with a touring company that they closed. We used to be partners with them. They're called Project Independent, and I won't say who, obviously, but there are people that we were with that were doing substances. So I'll leave it at that. And I didn't get it. They weren't functional. They weren't. You couldn't talk to them. You couldn't do anything. And I'm like, I don't get this. I don't get this. I enjoyed the artists and the people to work with that were not doing those things. They were fun to be with. They were interactive. They were invested in you. And the people that weren't, they were just they're on another planet and they didn't want to talk to you. I didn't get it. And so it's like Tony said, when the music business shifted to like, hey, this isn't cool, and we've gotten all those warnings from rock stars saying, hey, this isn't good to do, like take it from us, it's not good, run away from it.
Nikki
I've been
Six, the
seeing,
Heroin Diaries, anyone?
you know what I mean? So, and not to say that obviously there's bands out there that try and do those things, but I think that again, it's as Tony said, it's not cool. And as a matter of fact, if you're in the business, um, people and labels and A&R guys, they do not want to work with you. Management companies do not want to work with you if they know that you are addicted to substances. You're unreliable. You're a liability to them. So it's actually it forces the artist to be like, okay, well, if I want to make in this business, I can't act like a freaking duck. So it's a positive for sure.
The main well, the main reason for that is, put simply, album sales are not a thing anymore. So to put it like easily, when Motley Crue was at their peak, their label, their lawyers, their management put up with so much shit because they made their label a lot of money through album sales. If you were to go to the tier list of like the crazy shit that Motley Crue did back in the 80s, you go to the bottom of that list in terms of severity. If a band today that's signed to a label did like one thing at the bottom of that list as far as severity, they'd get kicked immediately because the liability is not worth it's not worth the liability to them anymore because you're not making them as much money
True.
as bands in the 80s did. There's no album sales. It's all streams, which is cut 5-6 ways anyway. So at that point, they're not making enough money for it to be worth the liability of you to be like unreliable or a piece of shit. So it's like it's kind of on the bands for waking up to like, hey, this isn't cool to do, but it's also on like the labels and the people that are higher up saying like, look, you can't get away with that shit anymore because it's not worth it to us to keep you. It's just not. You do dumb shit, you're gone. And there's plenty more just like you. So do dumb shit, get the boot. Just it's kind of like 50-50. It was kind of on the bands that are like, hey, this shit's kind of stupid. Why are we doing this? But also on like the guys above them that are like, you know, making it so you can make a living doing it, saying like, hey, don't do dumb shit or you're done.
Actually, I don't know how long we have for the interview, but now that we're talking about labels, I have a story I always like telling. I'll make it really quick. Do we have time? Do we have time to talk about it?
I don't remember when we clocked in, but go for it. If we get kicked off, then
we'll just jump back
I'll try
on.
to make it quick. I promise. I always like telling the story. So me and my manager were in LA, and we get invited to a meeting with a very big, again, I don't like to disclose, but a very large label that signed Drake, Coldplay, Ariana Grande, just a big label. And we're in this room at a college, and it's a listening party. So this guy who's the owner, he'll sit down, talk to the managers, they show the music, and he gives his opinion. Or if he really likes it, he'll be interested in signing you. So blah blah blah. We go down to all the managers and all that stuff, and it goes down to my manager. And mind you, he doesn't know who I am. I'm a fly in the wall. So I'm just there. He has no idea who I am. He's listening to all the music, and his comments were hilarious. And I mean that in the worst way. The things that he was saying, you could tell that these labels were so detached from what's.
This the guy that said that your first record sounded like Creed. Is that
I
down
was
there?
just about to say. So he's listening to all the songs from the second record, and his last comment he made was, "This sounds like Creed Light." Creed Light. I was like, what universe, what multiverse that Thanos came into and obliterated anything? Does Ornimental sound like Creed Light? So he had to go the extra. He had to go the extra mile. We weren't even as heavy as Creed. We weren't even as hard as Creed. So, I remember I was sitting there and I realized, looking at the sky, that I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, you don't know what's going on in music. You're so tunnel vision on your own world that you don't even know what's going on. And
Keep in
talking to
mind, this was
more,
like 2015, like recent, and Creed had been like broken up for like 10 years at this point.
yeah. And so when so then when we had this meeting, I think I'm pretty sure this meeting happened right before COVID. This was 2019. This happened right before COVID. And I realized that I'm like, you know what, man? If you're an artist and you can do this on your own without a label, to the best of your ability, because at some point, for distribution purposes, you need a label uh, for PR and distribution and complicated stuff. But if you could do this on your own in the States or wherever you're from, do it. These labels have no idea what they're talking about. Not only do they not know what they're talking about, they don't want to know what they're talking about. Like it honestly, like it was funny to hear multiple of these people that I met. I'm like, you know what? If you're a band that can do this independently for as long as possible, not saying you're going to be able to do it forever, then do it. Absolutely. If there's the biggest thing I could ever tell an artist that's been doing this for maybe just a couple of years or few years, don't go to a label right away. Do it as much as you can on your own. And then when the responsibilities become too much, get with a label to partner up with and do like a publishing deal or something, or publish or whatever, distribution, and do that as long as you can. Honestly, that's like the biggest thing I could tell you. That's like one of my biggest pieces of advices. And I'm trying to follow that advice as much as I can, for sure, before God willing, things take off to the next level for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They will take off. May take a bit.
It's going to. It's going
But
to.
it will.
It's going to. The music, especially with the music for